No, so originally, so this was what I got brought over to do the show for. And then because I like to have, you got to wrap the medicine and the entertainment. And I just like talking about stuff. Like I don't get to talk to enough real people. And so this way I get to talk to people from all over the place. And, it's fun for me. But what you'll notice is I try to have these conversations about some stuff important for like the first hour and a half, 2 hours. And then we can talk about whatever the chat wants to talk about. But with a topic like today's topic, I think it's important because a lot of people want to get distracted. And I'm like, this all boils back to the money. And like all the other stuff is actually the distraction. Because if we were in a state to where everybody could just compete, you wouldn't have modern women because people would be able to go out there. They'd get to the bag. Men would be in the position they're supposed to be in. Women would be able to rest in their femininity. And then, nature would run its.
You call it a distraction. I call it deflection. I call it deflection on many different levels. But listen, like I said before, modern woman ain't gonna want you if you ain't got a pot to piss in. Because once CBD hits CBDC. Sorry, I'm losing my mind.
Yep.
Once it hits, your drug hustle and your side hustle's gone. So then what you got?
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, there's not going to be any fast money at that point.
No, not at all. You're not going to have any side hustle.
Well, so that was getting me to my play. Like, I think this is what they're doing. Because, like, as you were saying, and like you kind of put this beat in my head, because there was the time that we were talking, and you said that it's illegal for the federal government to print the money and be the bank at this point, at this juncture. And so, like, I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, wait a minute. Once I started seeing like all these banks, and then Moody's downgrading more regional banks, and then out of those downgraded banks, more banks are starting to collapse off that list. I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, so the federal bank is allowing Chase. They're working out deals so that the private banks, the larger ones, can buy out the smaller ones. And we're going to, like, the way that I see this working out, we're going to end up with about 5 banks. That's what's going to happen, because all the big banks are going to buy all the little banks, and they're going to keep ratcheting this policy that'll knock out the little banks, right? The next phase of that is they'll use policy to start ratcheting out the big banks. Now, once the big banks collapse, then they're going to come back in with the age-old line that we're supposed to not ever want to hear. We're the government, and we're here to help. But then they'll have the ability to go, hey, we tried to let the banking system fix itself. We did. We gave it a good effort. We let the big banks buy the little banks, and like they were supposed to be safe, and then they didn't work. So now we'll go ahead and just let the Fed do this, and then everyone use the CBDCs, and then we have control of you. Like, that's the way that I think this plays out.
Well, let's face it. JP Morgan's never going anywhere. I mean, as simple as that. I mean, I'll take you back to the story of the Titanic if people want, but JP Morgan ain't going nowhere. Okay? I'm just being honest. Most people don't know. Most people saw the movie and think it's a love story, but actually the story is that JP Morgan sunk that ship on purpose, and hence why the Federal Reserve was open the next year. I mean, call it conspiracy, but it's the God's honest truth, and JP Morgan ain't going nowhere.
So we might just have JP Morgan giving us the money.
well, the fact of the matter is JP Morgan is the Federal Reserve. You think there's not tunnels underneath from JP Morgan to the Federal Reserve in the city? Like, you got to be out of your mind. Like, there's actual tunnels, structured tunnels that go from the bank to the Federal Reserve. I mean, it's a prime example when Germany wanted to go see their gold. Right, in 2018. It took them 3 years to see their gold, and they were funneling the gold back from JP Morgan to the Federal Reserve because there's nothing there.
Dang. That is why it took them 3 years to see their gold. God.
Yeah, what's funny is I laugh because most people are oblivious to what we're talking about right now. They really are. And I always bring up the Titanic, and I laugh because people don't understand the story. J.P. Morgan built the Titanic. He literally built the Titanic, okay? Every single person who was in opposition of the Federal Reserve was on that ship when it sunk. It's not coincidence. It's not conspiracy. I mean, why wasn't J.P. Morgan on his own ship for its first sailing? I mean, let's just think about that.
Wow. That's, I never thought about that, but I've also never heard that story.
Well,
That
I'm
is
tell
interesting.
You want to know what's funny? A year before, an author wrote a book called The Titan, which is the exact story of the Titanic. It just so happens he was murdered right after he wrote it.
Wow.
Well, I can get into conspiracy all day long, but I mean, listen, conspiracy is just a story that holds truth. I'm sorry to say it does. There's some sort of truth within conspiracy, but if you put all the pieces together, it's the truth. I'm sorry to say, J.P. Morgan was built on murder, capitalism, and the Federal Reserve. He created the Federal Reserve exactly the year to date after the Titanic sunk.
Wow. And then all the opposition just so happened to be on his ship.
You want to know what's funny? All the opposition, they did not want Federal Reserve. Look into it, bro. It's facts.
Yeah.
Like, people can research it themselves. I mean, it's all facts. It's right in front of your face. People just don't want to see it. And that's why I was telling you earlier and telling the people, like, stay with small local banks. Build that relationship, and you will get more out of it than you will with these big banks who, I mean, I could tell you a story about Bank of America. Me and Bank of America had a huge thing. One time when I was young in business, I was literally, I had $10,000 in 1 year. In 1 year, in bull crap friggin', what do you want to call them, fines, whatever they are. They literally, what happened is I had money constantly moving in and out. So if my money went negative for only an hour, there's money that they were taking from me. Like, and I wouldn't know it. You put money in, you take money out, you put money. In 1 year, over 10 grand.
Oh, Jesus.
And I had to fight.
So they were hitting you with every single one of those overdrafts.
Bro, everything you can possibly think of, I was getting hit with. But here's the thing. When you're in business and you're making a lot of money, you don't notice.
See it.
You're not going to notice $40 missing or $20 missing until at the end of the year, you look at Bank of America's little pie chart and they tattled on themselves and told me how much they took in fees.
Wow. They're like, oh, yeah, by the way, thanks for donating.
Well, it's a true story because I've been, in 2008, I lost almost $250,000. So I understand more than anybody. And remember, who am I? I'm a nobody. Imagine what these bigger guys and these bigger companies were losing.
Yeah. And I like the whole $10,000 in fees. Like, that is wild. Like, really wild.
Well, who's going to know when you have constant money moving in and out, especially in construction? Like, I'm in construction. I own a farm, but I'm in construction. Construction is my main thing. That's why I tell people, build a relationship with your bank. If you got good credit or if you don't got good credit, get good credit. Show that income, get good credit, make the bank work for you. Like, a prime example, we just bought a house. I paid $120,000 on 2.5 acres, right?
Nice.
Two-story house. It was built in 2001. It was never finished. So it's a total rehab. I got to rebuild the whole inside. Here's the thing. I'll get more than 2.5 times the equity in an 8-week period. Who can do that? That's what you need to be doing. You need to buy up properties that you can rehab. And people don't want to believe real estate's where it's at, but I'm telling you right now, it is.
100%. Well, I mean, it's a tangible. They're not making more of it. And like, when they go through these phases where they jack up the ecosystem, it just drives up the prices on houses. I mean, I'm 100% with you. Like, when I bought the place I'm at now, they call me every year and a half to talk about the equity of my house because it's been consistently going up. And it's like, okay, like that and for me, it's crypto and real estate. Like, those are my two things. Like, those are the things
I'm in crypto, but I tell people commodities, and people don't want to believe it. But here's the thing: people have to understand, and this is where there's a misconception, is that you don't have to buy a bar of gold, an ounce of gold. Okay, you don't have to. You can buy into gold, whether you got $20, $40, $100. You can buy into silver. Build your silver. Watch the market because it constantly goes up and down. When you have enough and silver drops, sell it, Buy gold. It's that easy. Do the same thing and work your way up to platinum, palladium. I own metal all over the place. And then the best part is you can receive tangible. So if you're not comfortable with the market, you can have that metal sent to your house intangible.
Nice. See, there you go. That's a whole gem.
Well, I tell you, listen, I have stuff over there. Dude, Mrs. Rage will take money. I don't even know what she's taking half the time. And next thing I know, I got bars of gold showing up in my door.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, literally, bars of gold in a friggin' flat rate box. You never know what's in it. Like, literally, that's how they send it to you. And whatever it is, awesome. Gold back dollars. But you're smart, Ray. Awesome. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. No, that makes sense. They hold on. Casey Mo said people need to know that banks are a business, and they exist to make money make them money, not you. And then, what's up, Onaspot? Welcome to the show. She came up to tell me to drink some water. She's sick of seeing me drink Monster Energy drinks.
No, okay. Casey Joe is absolutely right. But if someone's going to make money off you, it's called it's networking. You need to make money in return. So let me tell you, it's just like, all right, so if you buy a piece of property, right, and you're able to raise that equity in 8 to 10 week period, even in a 6-month period, be realistic, okay? If you have to hire contractors and stuff like that, just because you're paying that small percentage to the bank, in return, you're going to be making a hell of a lot more. You just have to be smart about it.
Right. Oh,
money makes the world go round. That's it. That's what it is. Listen, Ray, if your show does good, I'll start investing in you.
Hey, there we go. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, I kind of do this to facilitate like a network where, even though, because like obviously, like high level topics, you're not necessarily gonna immediately get the viewership of that, and so most of the stuff that I'm doing, it's like documenting my journey, documenting like me on the climb up, and then building spaces to where we can come have people like yourself, like myself, give different insights, because like we're all on the same trajectory, but it's like there's no right answer when it comes to money or finance, in my opinion. There's so many different ways to do it. Like we could get 100 guys in a room that are at a certain level and be like, how'd you get here? And you wouldn't get the same answer.
Because I can tell you.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no.
I can tell you a crazy story. Like I could tell you a crazy story about my farm that most people wouldn't believe that happened at the beginning of COVID. And I can tell you that you can make money off of anything. If you wanted to make money off of selling dog shit, you can.
Yeah. Yeah. And
go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't subscribe to the ideology that there's like one way to do things. Like I always tell people, I'm like, this is the way that I'm choosing to do it, because like basically anything that you do, you should be able to explain the why behind it from a business perspective, in a sense where it's not super, super complicated. Like I'm in crypto. I consider myself a financial anarchist, and I don't like middlemen. That simple. Like, why are you here? No middlemen. And it's my way of saying F you to the traditional system, because like I don't believe that it's built for people. You can make it work for you if you're perspicacious, but like in jest, it wasn't built for us to win, and they've shown that multiple times. There's like, you're not supposed to be able to work your way up for real.
Listen, all you need is drive. That's what it comes down to. Like I'll tell you the story real quick. I'll try to cut it down, but I'll tell you how I really start. I mean, I've always made money. I've always owned businesses. But I'll tell you, at the height of COVID, I knew construction was going to tank, right? There's nothing I could do. I knew construction was going to tank. So me and my wife said, what are we going to do for money? And we looked around, and we like to garden. I know it sounds gay. I'm not, but we like to garden. We like
everyone likes food. So
we looked at our super hot peppers that are growing, and we said, that's what we're going to make a business out of. I swear to God, this is a true story. We're in our backyard. I said, that's what we're going to make a business out of. I looked at the trajectory rate. It had a 7.3% trajectory rate till 2028. I said, that's what we're doing. Let me tell you something. Within 3 years, I built a $500,000 company and just reinvested and reinvested. I never took one paycheck. I made it work for me, and I reinvested. And look where we are now today with the farm. We have world's hottest pepper. We have 38 different products. We're all over the place. We're all over the world, not even the United States. That's how I did it. Literally from nothing. You want to know what I did? I sold guns and ammo to invest in the business. I swear to God.
I love that. That is awesome.
Anybody can do it. Listen, even if you're a product of your environment, you're stuck in the hood. Did you hear what I said? I sold guns and ammo to fund my business. Anybody can